The House of Hohenzollern is a dynasty of former princes, electors, kings, and emperors of Hohenzollern, Brandenburg, Prussia, the German Empire, and Romania. The family arose in the area around the town of Hechingen in Swabia during the 11th century and took the name from Hohenzollern Castle. The first ancestor of the Hohenzollerns was mentioned in 1061. They derived from the Burchardinger dynasty. The Hohenzollern family split into two branches, the Catholic Swabian Branch and the Protestant Franconian Branch, which later became the Brandenburg Prussian Branch. The Swabian Branch ruled the principalities of Hohenzollern, Hechingen and Hohenzollern-Sigmaringen until 1849, and also ruled Romania from 1866 to 1947. Members of the Franconian Branch became Margrave of Brandenburg in 1415 and Duke of Prussia in 1525. The Margraviate of Brandenburg and the Duchy of Prussia were ruled in personal union after 1618 and were called Brandenburg Prussia. The Kingdom of Prussia was created in 1701, eventually leading to the unification of Germany and the creation of the German Empire in 1871, with the Hohenzollerns as hereditary German emperors and kings of Prussia. Germany's defeat in World War I in 1918 led to the German Revolution. The Hohenzollerns were overthrown and the Weimar Republic was established, thus bringing an end to the German monarchy. Georg Friedrich, Prince of Prussia, is the current head of the royal Prussian line, while Karl Friedrich, Prince of Hohenzollern, is the head of the princely Swabian line. County of Zonin. Zollern, from 1218 Hohenzollern, was a county of the Holy Roman Empire. Its ruling dynasty was first mentioned in 1061. The Hohenzollerns named their estates after Hohenzollern Castle in the Swabian Alps. Later its capital was Hechingen. The Hohenzollern Castle still belongs to the family today. According to the medieval chronicler Berthold of Reichenau, Burchardinger, Count of Zollern was born before 1025 and died in 1061. The Zollerns received the comital title from Emperor Henry V in 1111. As loyal vassals of the Swabian Hohenzollern dynasty, they were able to significantly enlarge their territory. Count Frederick III accompanied Emperor Frederick I Barbarossa against Henry the Lion in 1180, and through his marriage was granted the Burgraviate of Nuremberg by Emperor Henry VI of Hohenzollern in 1191. In 1218 the Burgraviate passed to Frederick's youngest son Conrad I. He thereby became the ancestor of the Franconian Hohenzollern branch, which acquired the electorate of Brandenburg in 1415. Counts of Zollern until 1061, Burchardinger before 1125, Frederick I between California, 1125 and 1142, Frederick II, eldest son of Frederick I between California, 1143 and 1150 to 1155, Burchard II, second oldest son of Frederick I between California, 1150 to 1155 and 1160, Gottfried of Zimmern, fourth oldest son of Frederick I before 1171 c. 1200, Frederick III. Count Frederick III of Zollern was a loyal retainer of the Holy Roman Emperors Frederick Barbarossa and Henry VI. In about 1185 he married Sophia of Robes, the daughter of Conrad II, Burgrave of Nuremberg. After the death of Conrad II, who left no male heirs, Frederick III was granted Nuremberg in 1192 as Burgrave Frederick I of Nuremberg-Zollern. Since then the family name has been Hohenzollern. After Frederick's death, his sons partitioned the family lands between themselves. The elder brother, Frederick IV, received the county of Zollern and the Burgraviate of Nuremberg in 1200 from his father, thereby founding the Swabian branch of the House of Hohenzollern. The Swabian line remains Catholic. The younger brother, Conrad III, received the Burgraviate of Nuremberg from his older brother Frederick IV in 1218, thereby founding the Franconian branch of the House of Hohenzollern. Members of the Franconian line eventually became the Brandenburg Prussian branch. The Franconian line later converted to Protestantism. Franconian Branch. The cadet Franconian branch of the House of Hohenzollern was founded by Conrad I, Burgrave of Nuremberg. Beginning in the 16th century, this branch of the family became Protestant and decided on expansion through marriage and the purchase of surrounding lands. The family supported the Hohenstaufen and Habsburg rulers of the Holy Roman Empire during the 12th to 15th centuries, being rewarded with several territorial grants. In the first phase, the family gradually added to the lands, at first with many small acquisitions in the Franconian region of Germany. Ansbach in 1331, Kulmbach in 1340. In the second phase, the family expanded the lands further with large acquisitions in the Brandenburg and Prussian regions of Germany and current Poland. Margraviate of Brandenburg in 1417, Duchy of Prussia in 1618. These acquisitions eventually transformed the Hohenzollerns from a minor German princely family into one of the most important dynasties in Europe. Burgraves of Nuremberg 1192 to 1200, 1204, Frederick I 1204 to 1218, Frederick II 1218 to 1261, 1262, Conrad I 3, 1262 to 1297, Frederick III 1297 to 1300, John I 1300 to 1332, Frederick IV 1332 to 1357, John II 1357 to 1397, Frederick V. At Frederick V's death on the 21st of January 1398, his lands were partitioned between his two sons, 1397 to 1420, John III I 1397 to 1427, Frederick VI I. After John III I's death on the 11th of June 1420, the Margraviates of Brandenburg-Ansbach and Brandenburg-Kulmbach were briefly reunited under Frederick VI I. He ruled the Margraviate of Brandenburg-Ansbach after 1398. From 1420, he became Margrave of Brandenburg-Kulmbach. From 1411, Frederick VI became governor of Brandenburg and later elector and Margrave of Brandenburg as Frederick I. Upon his death on the 21st of September 1440, his territories were divided among his sons, Frederick II, elector of Brandenburg, Albert III, elector of Brandenburg and Margrave of Brandenburg-Ansbach. John II, Margrave of Brandenburg-Kulmbach. In 1427, Frederick, elector of Brandenburg, sold Nuremberg Castle and his rights as Burgrave to the imperial city of Nuremberg. The territories of Brandenburg-Ansbach and Brandenburg-Kulmbach remained possessions of the family, once parts of the Burgraviate of Nuremberg. Margraves of Brandenburg-Ansbach 1398, Frederick I 1440, Albert I 3, Achilles 1486, Frederick II 2, 1515, George I the Pious 1543, George Frederick I 1603, Wilhelm Ernst 1625, Frederick III 1634, Albert II 1667, John Frederick 1686, Christian I Albrecht 1692, George Frederick II 2. 1703, William Frederick, 1723, Charles William, 1757, Christian II Frederick, on the 2nd of December 1791, Christian II Frederick sold the sovereignty of his principalities to King Frederick William II of Prussia, Margraves of Brandenburg-Kulmbach, later Brandenburg-Bayreuth. 1397, John I. 1420, Frederick I. 1440, John II. 1457, Albert I. 3 Achilles, 1486, Siegmund. 1495, Frederick II. 2, 1515, Casimir. 1527, Albert II. Alcibiades. 1553, George Frederick I. 1603, Christian I. 1655, Christian II. Ernst. 1712, George I. William. 1726, George Frederick II. 2, 1735, Frederick IV. 1763, Frederick V. Christian. 1769, Christian II Frederick. On the 2nd of December 1791, Christian II Frederick sold the sovereignty of his principalities to King Frederick William II of Prussia. For the 8th of January 1701, the title of Elector of Brandenburg was attached to the title of King in Prussia, and, for the 13th of September 1772, to that of King of Prussia. Dukes of Jägendorf. The Duchy of Jägendorf was purchased in 1523. 1541 to 1543, George I the Pious. 1543 to 1603, George Frederick I. 1603 to 1606, Wikiman. 1606 to 1621, Johann Georg of Hohenzollern. The Duchy of Jägendorf was confiscated by Emperor Ferdinand III in 1622. Brandenburg Prussian branch. Margraves of Brandenburg. In 1411, Frederick VI, Burgrave of Nuremberg, was appointed governor of Brandenburg in order to restore order and stability. At the Council of Constance in 1415, King Sigismund elevated Frederick to the rank of Elector and Margrave of Brandenburg as Frederick I. 1415 to 1440, Frederick I. 1440 to 1471, Frederick II. 1471 to 1486, Albrecht III. Achilles. 1486 to 1499, John Cicero. 1499 to 1535, Wikiman Esther. 1535 to 1571, Wikim II Hector. 1571 to 1598, John George. 1598 to 1608, Wikim III Frederick. 1608 to 1619, John Sigismund. After 1618 existed a personal union with Prussia. The resulting state is called Brandenburg Prussia. Margraves of Brandenburg-Custrin. The short-lived Margraviate of Brandenburg-Custrin was set up as a secundogeniture of the House of Hohenzollern. 1535 to 1571, John the Wise, Margrave of Brandenburg-Custrin. Although recognized as a branch of the dynasty since 1688, the Margraviate of Brandenburg-Schwedt remained subordinate to the electors, and was never an independent principality. 1688 to 1711, Philip William, Prince in Prussia, Margrave of Brandenburg-Schwedt. 1731 to 1771, Frederick William, Prince in Prussia, Margrave of Brandenburg-Schwedt. 1771 to 1788, Frederick Henry, Prince in Prussia, Margrave of Brandenburg-Schwedt. Dukes of Prussia. In 1525, the Duchy of Prussia was established as a fief of the King of Poland. Albert of Prussia was the last headmaster of the Teutonic Knights and the first Duke of Prussia. He belonged to the Ansbach branch of the dynasty. The Duchy of Prussia adopted Protestantism as the official state religion. 1525 to 1568, Albert I 1568 to 1618, Albert II Frederick Co-heir 1568 to 1571, Wikiman 2 Hector Co-heir 1578 to 1603, George Frederick I I 1603 to 1608, Wikiman I 3 Frederick 1608 to 1618, John Sigismund 1618 to 1619, John Sigismund 1619 to 1640, George William I I 1640 to 1688, Frederick I 3 William the Great Elector 1688 to 1701, Frederick II IV I. From 1701 the title of Duke of Prussia was attached to the title of King in and of Prussia. Kings in Prussia in 1701 the title of King in Prussia was granted, without the Duchy of Prussia being elevated to a kingdom within the Holy Roman Empire. From 1701 onwards the titles of Duke of Prussia and Elector of Brandenburg were always attached to the title of King in Prussia. The Duke of Prussia adopted the title of King as Frederick I, establishing his status as a monarch whose royal territory lay outside the boundaries of the Holy Roman Empire. With the assent of Emperor Leopold I, Frederick could not be King of Prussia, because part of Prussia's lands were under the suzerainty of the Crown of the Kingdom of Poland. In the age of absolutism, most monarchs were obsessed with the desire to emulate Louis XIV of France with his luxurious palace at Versailles. 1701 to 1713, Frederick I II IV. 1713 to 1740, Frederick William I 1740 to 1786, Frederick the Great. In 1772 the Duchy of Prussia was elevated to a kingdom. Kings of Prussia. Frederick William's successor, Frederick the Great, gained Silesia in the Silesian War so that Prussia emerged as a great power. The king was strongly influenced by French culture and civilization and preferred the French language. In 1772 the title King of Prussia was assumed. From 1772 onwards the titles of Duke of Prussia and Elector of Brandenburg were always attached to the title King of Prussia. Frederick the Great, Frederick William II, Frederick William III, Frederick William IV, William I, Frederick III, William II. In 1871 the Kingdom of Prussia became a constituent member of the German Empire. German emperors. In 1871 the German Empire was proclaimed, with the accession of William I to the newly established Imperial German throne. The titles of King of Prussia, Duke of Prussia and Elector of Brandenburg were always attached to the title of German Emperor. Prussia's Minister-President Otto von Bismarck convinced William that German Emperor instead of Emperor of Germany would be appropriate. He became primus inter pares among other German sovereigns. William II intended to develop a German navy capable of challenging Britain's Royal Navy. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria on 28 June 1914 set off the chain of events that led to World War I. As a result of the war, the German, Russian, Austro-Hungarian and Ottoman empires ceased to exist. 1871 to 1888, William I 1888, Frederick III 1888 to 1918, William II. In 1918 the German Empire was abolished and replaced by the Weimar Republic. After the outbreak of the German Revolution in 1918, both Emperor Wilhelm II and Crown Prince Wilhelm signed the document of abdication. Hohenzollerns. Since 1918 abdication. Since the abolition of the German monarchy, no Hohenzollern claims to imperial or royal prerogatives are recognized by Germany's basic law for the Federal Republic of Germany of 1949, which guarantees a republic. In June 1926, a referendum on expropriating the formerly ruling princes of Germany without compensation failed, and as a consequence, the financial situation of the Hohenzollern family improved considerably. A settlement between the state and the family made Cäcilienhof property of the state, but granted a right of residence to Crown Prince Wilhelm and his wife Cecily. The family also kept the ownership of Monbijou Palace in Berlin, Olesnica Castle in Silesia, Rheinsberg Palace, Schwedt Palace and other property until 1945. The communist government of the Soviet occupation zone appropriated all landowners and industrialists. The House of Hohenzollern lost almost all of its fortune, retaining a few company shares in Hohenzollern Castle in West Germany. The Polish government appropriated the Silesian property, and the Dutch government seized Wiedorn, the emperor's seat in exile. After German reunification, however, the family was legally able to reclaim the portable property, namely art collections and parts of the interior of the former palaces. Negotiations on the return of a compensation for these assets are not yet completed. The head of the house is the titular King of Prussia and German Emperor. He also bears a historical claim to the title of Prince of Orange. Members of this line styled themselves Princes of Prussia. Georg Friedrich, Prince of Prussia, the current head of the Royal Prussian House of Hohenzollern, was married to Princess Sophie of Eisenberg on 27 August 2011. On 20 January 2013, she gave birth to twin sons, Karl Friedrich Franz Alexander and Louis Ferdinand Christian Albrecht, in Bremen. Karl Friedrich, the elder of the two, is the heir apparent. Swabian Branch. The senior Swabian branch of the House of Hohenzollern was founded by Frederick IV, Count of Zonin. The family ruled 3 territories with seats at, respectively, Hechingen, Sigmaringen and Haigerloch. The counts were elevated to princes in 1623. The Swabian branch of the Hohenzollerns was Roman Catholic, affected by economic problems and internal feuds. The Hohenzollern counts from the 14th century onwards came under pressure by the neighbors, the counts of Württemberg and the cities of the Swabian League, whose troops besieged and finally destroyed Hohenzollern Castle in 1423. Nevertheless, the Hohenzollerns retained their estates, backed by the Brandenburg cousins and the Imperial House of Habsburg. In 1535, Count Charles I of Hohenzollern received the counties of Sigmaringen and Veringen as imperial fiefs. In 1576, when Charles I, Count of Hohenzollern, died, his county was divided to form the 3 Swabian branches. Eitel Frederick IV took Hohenzollern with the title of Hohenzollern-Hechingen, Karl II took Sigmaringen and Veringen, and Christopher got Haigerloch. Christopher's family died out in 1634. Eitel Frederick IV of Hohenzollern-Hechingen, Charles II of Hohenzollern-Sigmaringen, Christopher of Hohenzollern-Haigerloch. In 1695, the remaining 2 Swabian branches entered into an agreement with the Margrave of Brandenburg which provided that if both branches became extinct, the principalities should fall to Brandenburg. Because of the revolutions of 1848, Constantine, Prince of Hohenzollern-Hechingen, and Karl Anton, Prince of Hohenzollern-Sigmaringen, abdicated the thrones in December 1849. The principalities were ruled by the kings of Prussia from December 1849 onward, with the Hechingen and Sigmaringen branches obtaining official treatment as cadets of the Prussian royal family. The Hohenzollern-Hechingen branch became extinct in 1869. A descendant of this branch was Countess Sophie Chotek, morganatic wife of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Est. Counts of Hohenzollern in 1204. The county of Hohenzollern was established out of the fusion of the county of Zollern and the Burgraviate of Nuremberg. The Swabian branch inherited the county of Zollern and, being descended from Frederick I of Nuremberg, were all named Friedrich down through the 11th generation. Each one's numeral is counted from the first Friedrich to rule his branch's appanage. The most senior of these in the 12th century, Count Friedrich VIII of Zollern, had two sons, the elder of whom became Friedrich IX, first Count of Hohenzollern, and fathered Friedrich X, who left no sons when he died in 1412. But the younger son of Friedrich VIII, called Friedrich of Strasbourg, uniquely took no numeral of his own, retaining the old title Count of Zollern, and predeceased his brother in 1364/65. Prince Wilhelm Karl zu Eisenberg's 1957 genealogical series, Europäische Stammtafeln, says Friedrich of Strasbourg shared, rather, in the rule of Zollern with his elder brother until his premature death. It appears, but is not stated, that Strasbourg's son became the recognized co-ruler of his cousin Friedrich X and, as such, assumed the designation Friedrich XI, although he actually predeceased Friedrich X, dying in 1401. Friedrich XI, however, left two sons who jointly succeeded the cousin once removed, being Count Friedrich XII and Count Eitel Friedrich I, the latter becoming the ancestor of all subsequent branches of the princes of Hohenzollern. 1204–1251–1255, Frederick IV, also Burgrave of Nuremberg as Frederick II until 1218. 1251–1255–1289, Frederick V, 1289–1298, Frederick VI, 1298–1309, Frederick VII, 1309–1333, Frederick VIII, 1333–1377, Frederick IX, 1377–1401, Frederick XI, 1401–1426, Frederick XII, 1426–1439, Eitel Frederick I, 1439–1488, Jobst Nicholas I, 1488–1512, Eitel Frederick II, 1512–1525, Eitel Frederick III, 1525–1575, Charles I, in the 12th century, a son of Frederick I, secured the county of Hohenberg. The county remained in the possession of the family until 1486. The influence of the Swabian line was weakened by several partitions of its lands. In the 16th century, the situation changed completely when Eitel Frederick II, a friend and advisor of the Emperor Maximilian I, received the district of Haigerloch. His grandson Charles I was granted the counties of Sigmaringen and Veringen by Charles V. Counts, later princes of Hohenzollern Hechingen. The county of Hohenzollern Hechingen was established in 1576 with allodial rights. The county included the original county of Zollern, with the Hohenzollern Castle and the monastery at Stettin. Eitel Frederick IV, John George, Eitel Frederick V, Philip Christopher Frederick, Frederick William, Frederick Louis, Joseph Friedrich Wilhelm, Hermann, Friedrich, Constantine. In December 1849, the ruling princes of both Hohenzollern Hechingen and Hohenzollern Sigmaringen abdicated the thrones, and the principalities were incorporated as the Prussian province of Hohenzollern. The Hechingen branch became extinct in dynastic line with Constantine's death in 1869. Counts of Hohenzollern-Haigerloch. The county of Hohenzollern-Haigerloch was established in 1576 without allodial rights. 1576 to 1601. Christopher of Hohenzollern-Haigerloch, 1601 to 1623, John Christopher, Count of Hohenzollern-Haigerloch, 1601 to 1634, Charles, Count of Hohenzollern-Haigerloch. Between 1634 and 1681, the county was temporarily integrated into the Principality of Hohenzollern-Sigmaringen. 1681 to 1702, Francis Anthony, Count of Hohenzollern-Haigerloch. 1702 to 1750, Ferdinand Leopold, Count of Hohenzollern-Haigerloch. 1750 to 1767, Francis Christopher Anton of Hohenzollern-Haigerloch. Upon the death of Francis Christopher Anton in 1767, the Haigerloch territory was incorporated into the Principality of Hohenzollern-Sigmaringen. Counts, later princes of Hohenzollern-Sigmaringen. The county of Hohenzollern-Sigmaringen was established in 1576 with allodial rights and a seat at Sigmaringen Castle. Karl II, John, Meinrad-I, Maximilian I, Meinrad-II, Joseph Frederick Ernest, Charles Frederick, Anton Alois, Karl III, Karl Anton. In December 1849, sovereignty over the principality was yielded to the Franconian branch of the family and incorporated into the Kingdom of Prussia, which accorded status as cadets of the Prussian royal family to the Swabian Hohenzollerns. The last ruling prince of Hohenzollern-Sigmaringen, Karl Anton, would later serve as minister-president of Prussia between 1858 and 1862. The family continued to use the princely title of First of Hohenzollern-Sigmaringen until 1869 and still used the title of Prince of Hohenzollern. 1849 to 1885, Karl Anton, Prince of Hohenzollern. 1885 to 1905, Leopold, Prince of Hohenzollern. 1905 to 1927, Wilhelm, Prince of Hohenzollern. 1927 to 1965, Frederick, Prince of Hohenzollern. 1965 to 2010, Friedrich Wilhelm, Prince of Hohenzollern. 2010 present, Karl Friedrich, Prince of Hohenzollern. Heir apparent, Alexander, hereditary Prince of Hohenzollern. In 1866, Prince Charles of Hohenzollern-Sigmaringen was chosen Prince of Romania, becoming King Carol I of Romania in 1881. Charles's elder brother, Leopold, Prince of Hohenzollern, was offered the Spanish throne after a revolt exiled Isabella II in 1870. Although encouraged by Bismarck to accept, Leopold declined in the face of French opposition. Nonetheless, Bismarck halted and then published the Ems telegram to create a casus belli. France declared war, but Bismarck's Germany won the Franco-Prussian War. The head of the Sigmaringen branch is Karl Friedrich, styled His Serene Highness the Prince of Hohenzollern. His official seat is Sigmaringen Castle. Kings of the Romanians. Reigning. The Principality of Romania was established in 1862, after the Ottoman vassal states of Wallachia and Moldavia had been united in 1859 under Alexandru Ioan Cuza as Prince of Romania in a personal union. He was deposed in 1866 by the Romanian Parliament. Prince Charles of Hohenzollern-Sigmaringen was invited to become reigning Prince of Romania in 1866. In 1881 he became Carol I, King of the Romanians. Carol I had an only daughter who died young, so the younger son of his brother Leopold, Prince Ferdinand of Hohenzollern-Sigmaringen, would succeed his uncle as King of the Romanians in 1914, and his descendants, having converted to the Orthodox Church, continued to reign there until the end of the monarchy in 1947. 1866 to 1914, Carol I. 1914 to 1927, Ferdinand. 1927 to 1930, Michael. 1930 to 1940, Carol II. 1940 to 1947, Michael. In 1947 the Kingdom of Romania was abolished and replaced with the People's Republic of Romania. Michael does not press his claim to the defunct Romanian throne, and although he has been welcomed back to the country after half a century in exile, as a private citizen, with substantial former royal properties being placed at his disposal, his dynastic claim is not recognized by the no longer communist Romanian Republic. On the 10th of May 2011, Michael severed the dynastic ties between the House of Romania and the House of Hohenzollern. The branch of the Hohenzollerns is now dynastically represented only by the last King Michael of Romania and his daughters. Having no sons, he declared that his dynastic heir, instead of being a male member of the Hohenzollern Sigmaringen princely family to which he belongs patrilineally and in accordance with the last Romanian monarchical constitution, shall be his eldest daughter Margarita. House of Hohenzollern table. Palaces of the Prussian Hohenzollerns. Some important castles and palaces of the Prussian Hohenzollerns were palaces of other Hohenzollerns. Coats of arms.